Thank you very much. Mark Lantain, University of Tromsø, Arctic University of Norway. Two short questions for each of the speakers. Thank you very much. To Senator Murkowski, the most recent Alaska state budget had a, shall we say, very significant effect on the status of the University of Alaska system. And this has raised quite a few questions about whether the university will still continue to be a kind of a forward actor in Arctic studies. So I was wondering if you can comment on the situation with that. And to Minister Bagger, I also would be interested in hearing your thoughts on Greenland's relations with the other big neighbor, Canada, how you see that relationship going forward, especially in light of political and other changes in the Arctic. Thank you very much.
So let me speak to the situation with the University of Alaska. And we have greatly valued the shared relationship that we have with the University of Tromsø, working with so many other Arctic nations through our universities. This has been key, and it is an advancement that we don't want to go backwards on. We have had some very difficult decisions coming out of our state's administration as it relates to our budget. Some pretty devastating news this summer. We've been able to ameliorate that to a certain impact, but the reality is that our university system budget will be reduced, and I think dramatically reduced. They're looking at some levels of restructuring that are not quite clear at this point in time. I think what I would like to leave you and with everybody else who recognizes the good value of the university work, whether it comes from the University of Alaska or Wisconsin or Tromsø, that these initiatives that have been underway must continue. I have looked very critically to what we can do at the federal level in ensuring that there's ongoing research dollars that help our universities as they're focusing on these Arctic issues. But at the end of the day, our university needs to have state support, skin in the game from the state as well. So we will continue to push on the state side. We can't go backwards with the research and the gains that we have made working cooperatively and collaboratively with so many.
Yes, thank you. Our collaboration with Canada is a long-term history, and in terms of our heritage, we have commonalities with Canada, and we collaborate on several areas, including education, and we are looking into more directly cooperation after our new investments in the airport is completed at 23. So we are working to strengthen our collaboration.
I think we have time for two more questions, and each one is only allowed one question from here now. Yep.
Okay, I'm Bertel Holin, University of Copenhagen, Denmark, and I have a question to the senator, who, of course, knows a lot about American administration. How come that American president is thinking that there is a market for buying and selling nations? And how come that after a phone call to my prime minister started with calling her a nasty woman, and after a while she was suddenly a wonderful woman?
I can't speak for the president. That's pretty clear. And I don't tweet, so you're safe there. But I think we heard the Prime Minister yesterday state very, very clearly, not only is Greenland not for sale, but that you can't buy that. You cannot buy that. We are not in the business of buying and selling other nations. That is not who the United States of America is, period. And I will just add a further note that while the president might be able to make a statement such as that, it is the Congress that appropriates the money. And this appropriator is going to make darn sure we're not buying Greenland.
Any further questions? Okay. Over there.
Hello, Dr. Damien de George. I'm a Reykjavik-based Arctic consultant, having worked more than 15 years on Greenland. When Greenland meets the US, it's often described as David meeting Goliath. But I just wanted to remind one historic fact that many has forgotten. In 2001, Greenland took part in its first World Championship in handball in France. And on the 27th January 2001, Greenland defeated the United States 26-18. So this time, Greenland was Goliath. Thank you.
There's the history lesson right there.
Okay, there was somebody there. Yeah. You. Yes.
Senator, I think we all recognize that the Greenland business was good for a laugh, but probably not terribly serious. But there is something that is more under the control of the President and his administration, which is causing concern to a lot of us. Andrew Kendrick from Vard Marine in Canada. And that's the freedom of navigation operations, which are being discussed at the moment. In your opinion, how concerned should we be about the US Navy trying to undertake, either in Canadian waters or in Russian waters, this type of extremely dangerous operation?
I will suggest to you that while these discussions may be underway, that there is a very, I think it's much appreciated that actions that may be taken that are viewed as overt threats under the freedom of the seas and working with our friends. Remember, we are friends with Canada. We want to continue that relationship. So anything that would be viewed as unduly provocative, while you may have some that are making statements, I think you also have those who are weighing in very clearly to make sure that we do not disturb that relationship that is so important and so long-standing. So I guess I would urge caution in not an overreaction here.
Well, I will use the privilege of the chair to ask Minister Bakke the last question. And Minister Bakke, do you not worry with the great attention now showered upon Greenland by both the biggest power in the world and also the rising power, that is to say, the US and China? Don't you worry that Greenland becomes a kind of a bone of contention in a geopolitical struggle, and perhaps is Greenland already at that state?
Well, the increased attention to Greenland, we would like to make our effort to make it count, so to speak, into real economic development for our society, for our people to become independent in the future. And yesterday there was some that was said that the Arctic should be a national park. But we want to, as a country, we want to develop as a nation, and develop our economy, and the increased attention from the rest of the world can benefit our effort to gain that independence.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been both a fairly polite and very responsive audience, and I thank you very much. And I also would like to thank these two formidable politicians for the contributions. They really are great. Thank you very much.